So I hope my screen is visible. So maybe one
Yes,
or two, just put it over the chat box if it is
yes,
visible.
yes, sure, visible.
All right, great. So welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining in today's session. So today we'll be learning about the organ pancreas, the sugar regulating regulator in our body. So we often think that heart or brain are the most important organs, but in today's session, I am going to show you all how the small organ, which is your pancreas, plays a very important role in our energy, digestion, and also blood sugar control. So we'll be talking about what functions, how it is linked with the diabetes and all that stuff in today's call. Okay, so now let us learn about pancreas. So we all know, so pancreas is a long organ, flat gland that sits behind your stomach. So it works in the background. So there are no painful but extremely very important organ which does two basic functions. Okay, very important functions. So this work as exocrine and also endocrine as an endocrine. That means it also helps in our digestive function, which breaks down our food that we eat, and also it has hormonal function, which basically helps in managing your sugars through hormones, which everybody knows, which is our insulin. Okay, so think just like your kitchen blender. So this breaks everything into small, tiny pieces. So that is one function which your liver does, and also your home inverter. So which basically controls the energy flow. In our case, if we are talking about, it is basically controlling your sugar readings. So this does the both function. So one is like your kitchen blender and also the home inverter, which controls and helps in digestion as well, right? So yeah, so your blood sugar's best friend, your pancreas are your sugar's best friend, because this have a capability of producing insulin. So pancreas help in managing your sugars with two powerful hormones, which is your insulin and your glucagon. So insulin basically helps in lowering blood sugars by helping the cells to absorb it. So which we already know. And the second hormone which is produced by your liver is your glucagon. So this basically raises your sugar readings whenever necessary, when there is low sugars, extremely low. So then this glucagon hormone taps your liver to produce the extra sugars from the stores, so that your blood sugar doesn't drop more. So this basically we observe in the CGM. Sometimes what happens, your sugar is going down without your notice, but even without having any food or anything, your sugars gradually raises up, right? So this is because of your glucagon functioning. So your glucagon helps in, shooting your sugar. Raising your blood sugar readings by the help of, liver. So it asks liver to increase the sugar readings so that there is a equilibrium that is maintained. Okay. So imagine your sugar is like a water tank. Okay. So insulin is like a tap. So which goes through the bucket. Okay. That means your cells. Okay. But glucagon is like an energy backup. If the tank is getting empty, they help in refilling that tank from the reserves. That is from your liver. So this is a basic function that our pancreas does. Okay, so to maintain this equilibrium of your sugars without going for hypo or without going for hyper, these two hormones are very, very important. Okay, now let us learn in detail about insulin's role. So basically, after we eat, especially carbohydrates like your roti or rice or fruit, so these are sources of carbohydrates we already know. So your blood sugar, what happens? It goes up. So when your sugar is going up, automatically your insulin is released from your pancreas and they act like a key. So they open the lock in the cell. So cell doors open up and your sugars are entering into the cell and used as an energy, right? So for suppose if you had maybe two idlis and chutney, so what happens? Your insulin here helps to convert this into energy instead of making it float into the blood itself. So sugars are not there in the blood, so they are taken up by your cells since the sugars are going up. Okay, so what happens if insulin doesn't work? We already know if your insulin production is disrupted or if the insulin doesn't work well, that can lead to diabetes. So that is the reason. So insulin is very, very important in case of managing your sugars as well. So now let us learn about exact opposite thing, which is your glucagon. So now let us understand. So your insulin is secreted by beta cells of your pancreas, but your glucagon is produced by alpha cells. So this one basically sends the signal. So as I already told, they give a signal for your body to release some sugars. That is from liver, your sugars are produced to your blood, basically. So this actually helps in preventing your low sugars. Whenever there is a possibility of your body to go into hypoglycemia, they immediately take an action to increase your sugars by taking the help of your liver. So let's say you skipped a breakfast or you tried walking a lot. So what happens here? Your sugar starts dipping down. Here, your glucagon comes into picture and tells your liver to increase the sugars, taking the help of, from the stored, sugar. So this is how glucagon basically helps in maintaining the equilibrium of your sugar readings, right? And now we have learned about, how hormonal thing is beneficial in terms of pancreas thing. So now we'll be learning how this helps in digestion process. So pancreas is like a enzyme factory, like a scissor factory, you can think. So what happens? This also helps in digestion. Many enzymes are produced by our pancreas itself. So like your amylase, lipase, protease. These are the three important enzymes which your pancreas produces. Amylase helps in breaking down your carbs, and lipase helps in breaking down your fat, and protease helps in breaking down of your protein, right? So for suppose you had idli with sambar. So idli again is a carbohydrate. Sambar with dal is basically protein and oil is fat. So all at once, your pancreas releases enzyme and starts breaking it down. So for that reason, so this is also known as pancreas. Pancreas make different enzymes. So helps in breaking down of our food and also helps in the digestion process. So now endocrine versus exocrine function. So pancreas have two things, two functions, major functions that performs. 99% it works as exocrine, which is that it makes your digestive enzymes, and just for 1% of the time, it acts as an endocrine organ. That is, this helps in insulin and glucagon production. In the sense, for suppose I can tell you that it is like teacher who also runs a tiffin business. So they balance both, like knowledge in terms of hormone and also food in terms of enzymes, right? So exocrine, they break down the food into small tiny pieces. So they prepare the scissors to, cut the food into tiny parts. And they also release insulin and glucagon, which is basically sugar controlling hormone. Insulin is dead opposite to the glucagon. Insulin is produced when your sugars are going high, but your glucagon is produced when your sugars are going low. So these are the functions that your pancreas perform. Right? So now let us understand about islet cells of Langerhans. So basically, pancreas have tiny cells, which is called as islets of Langerhans. So this basically has beta cells and alpha cells. These are the two types of cells. Beta cells is something which prepares insulin, but your alpha cells are something which makes glucagon. So as we already know, so in fact that, in type 1 diabetes, what happens? your beta cells are completely destroyed. So they become insulin dependent. That is, they want insulin from outside. So they cannot produce insulin at all. So by birth only, what happens is that in type 1 diabetes, your own body cells treats this beta cells as a threat, and they completely destroy those beta cells. And now sugar is stored, I mean, insulin is not totally produced at all. So they basically depend on the insulin. And in case of type 2 diabetes, your beta cells are not destroyed. They are actually working to produce your insulin. But what happens is that your body doesn't listens to the insulin. So they do not they don't want to, accept the insulin that is produced by your own body. So where comes your insulin resistance and decrease in insulin sensitivity and all that stuff. Okay, so now let us learn about pancreas and diabetes. So here I already told few basic things in the previous slide itself. So when your pancreas fails to do its job, so your sugar balance goes out. So completely there is no proper balance which is maintained, and that is how we divide the diabetes into two forms. One is your type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes. Type 1 diabetes, there is no insulin at all. So you have to depend on the exogenous insulin. And in case of type 2 diabetes, there is insulin resistance. So where your own body cells are not accepting your insulin properly, and sensitivity is totally reduced. So in type 2 diabetes, it is like you have the keys, that is your insulin, you have the keys, but the lock is basically jammed. So the glucose, whatever is there, gets built up in the blood itself, and they're not at all entering into the cells. So that is how we divide this into two categories. So now, pancreatic cancer. So pancreatic cancer is basically very serious, and they are not that easily detected also. So in early stage, you can never detect. So symptoms are basically like, weight loss, unexplained weight loss, or any digestive issue, or jaundice. So which basically shows up very late. So for that reason, regular checkups are very, very important, especially if there is family history of pancreatic cancer. It's very, very important to take care. Okay, and now let us learn about pancreas and weight. So when insulin is always high, when insulin is every time in for over a period of time, it is very high. So what happens? This basically happens whenever you're taking snacks or sugary food all the time. So what happens? So this is basically stored in our body. This stores in form of fat. So especially around your belly part. So that's the reason wherever there is belly fat, there is increased risk of having insulin resistance, and your insulin doesn't perform properly. So that's the reason whenever you're controlling your sugar spikes, your insulin production is also not very high. So it is very much moderate. And when the sugar spikes are very much moderate, your fat stores are reduced, and also the insulin functioning is much better, and you will have better improved in insulin function. So now let us understand how you can keep your pancreas healthy and what you should be doing to take care of your pancreas. So try to maximum keep home cooked meals, and choose whole grains instead of white rice or something. Like maybe you're going with millet pongal or something instead of going with rice pongal. So try to overloading on sweets or fried foods. So make sure you are physically active. So walking daily, or 30 minutes of the moment, and make sure you are sipping in water. So hydration is totally very important. So eat clean and balanced meal. So try to have vegetables and fruits with skin and millets. Try to cut off with the processed food, white flour, and your fried snacking items. Try to include fiber before each and every meal. That is your vegetables like your carrot, cucumber, or radish, lettuce. So all these vegetables are very, very important because fiber helps in reducing the absorption of your glucose and also reduce the load on your pancreas to produce insulin. So like, having subsies, all flax seeds and all, they are very, very important, which actually helps in slowing down your digestion process. And also controlling your portion size also is very, very important. So prevent overproduction of insulin. So whenever you are having, instead of having 2 cups of rice, you cut down it to just 1 cup of rice, adding in salad and a source of protein. What happens? The load on insulin is reduced. So try to follow the plate method. So I think everybody are aware about the plate method, where you have to divide your plate into 25, 25, and 50. So 50% of your plate should come from your fiber totally, which is your vegetable section, and one with the protein and one with the carbohydrate section. Then the tendency to have carbohydrates and production of sugar is reduced. Done. And make sure you're staying hydrated, because some enzymatic activity for digestion process, your water is very important. So drink water, buttermilk, or any kind of infused water, etc. So to help your body. And act physically active. Try to involve strengthening workouts and cardio in combination along with walking and all that. And make sure you are adding fats to your food in moderation, like in terms of nuts, seeds, and also ghee in very much moderation. This helps in protecting your beta cells. And overeating and stress eating should be cut off, because this put much load on your pancreas to increase the insulin production to get down the sugar readings, instead of letting it go for hyper, right? So alcohol and smoking also to be reduced. So to improve your pancreatic health, make sure you are including like cinnamon water or cinnamon in your diet, bitter gourd, and turmeric in your diet as well, because your pancreas are really working very hard to digest your food and to regulate your sugars. What we can do is, by eating fiber rich meal, try to reduce your sugars, and also moving your body, and also by trying to avoid binge eating or stress eating. So it's just like how your phone needs a charger, your pancreas also needs a gentle care, right? So for that reason, let us make sure we are maintaining our health really good, our pancreatic health especially, so that overall you are not just focusing on your pancreas, but indirectly you are helping other organs also. So that is about this. And let us have a quick recap kind of thing. So we have learned about pancreas. Pancreas basically helps in 2 different functions. One is your digestion and also to control your sugars. So to control your sugars or to maintain balance over the sugars, they basically produce 2 different hormones. One is your insulin and one more is your glucagon. So insulin is helping to reduce your blood sugar readings, but glucagon helps in increasing your sugar readings when there is hypoglycemia happening. So problem with these hormones, or problem with the production of insulin, or when the equilibrium is missed, then it leads to diabetes. So when diabetes is there, it is totally with lifestyle modification. Try to protect it through your lifestyle modification in terms of your food and your in terms of your physical activity, etc. Right? So that is all about today's session. So let us try to keep it healthy with good food and good habits and regular physical activity. So I am very happy to answer the questions. So maybe I'll take a few questions now. So yes, so maybe everybody can put it over the chat box so I can take up. Okay, so I'll take one doubt over here. So if fat deposit is the reason behind the insulin resistance, then how come some people who are lean but still has diabetes? So in case of this case, what happens is that, so fat basically when it stores, the insulin production is disrupted. So your body doesn't make proper insulin. So when there is proper insulin, your body is very stubborn to have a proper insulin, only then it is going to accept. right? So in case of people who are lean but still has diabetes, when there is increased sugar and your body is not at all accepting those sugars, what happens? Your body assumes that there is no energy at all. So when your body assumes when there is no energy at all, then what happens? They start depending on your muscles. I mean, your protein sources. So they eat up all your muscles and all that stuff for the sake of energy. For that reason, people start losing weight. Sometimes they go underweight also. So this is the basic reason why people look lean. So that's the reason we include protein in every meal. Each and every meal, protein is important. And sometimes we also suggest protein supplements as well, right? So this is the main reason. So they will have protein loss. When there is protein loss, there is chances of going underweight. To prevent this underweight, we basically add in protein sources to improve our muscles. And that is the reason essence strength and workouts are very important to do so that the muscles improve. How true is it that diabetes is hereditary? So, yes, through genetics also, there are different reasons. There is no just one reason or two reason to have diabetes. So, there are multiple reasons. So, it can be due to genetics, it can be due to your sedentary lifestyle, or if there is less physical activity. So, there are many reasons to have diabetes. That is not just with the hereditary. So, it totally depends.